Hello, hello,
Hello.
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 Welcome to Content Creators Connect. Here we're all about encouraging the three C's, connecting with others via video, content development that builds your personal brand, and creators sharing their experience, can't talk today, despite their distance.
The C3 team member leading this evening is Kevin, also known as ClasicMac to his online community. He is a strong advocate in finding low-cost tools to help you in your live streaming journey. Kevin, how has mobile live streaming fit into your content creation process?
It is such a valuable tool because, like I was saying multiple episodes ago, that use what you have, and to be able to use, if you have an extra iPhone or an extra tool like that, use it as part of your stream, and that helps you be a little bit more mobile than just having your webcam connected to your computer. So I'm excited to talk to you about some different opportunities and different ways to engage your audience by using those mobile devices. So Dori, I'm curious to find out, do you ever, I know I've seen you in some of your morning streams that you do use your mobile from your vehicle. So you've actually used your phone. Have you used it in any other aspects of your streaming?
Actually, I love popping my phone into my phone holder in my car and hitting that go live button. It's what I live for. Honestly, it's how I built my daily audience through my DSpence dish. I would sit in my car in the parking lot, put my 5-minute makeup face on, and just talk about mindset and motivation. But I use it in a lot of other ways too. Like you'll find me in the summer, I'm constantly either in the kayak or on my mountain bike or even just hiking at camp. I constantly have either my phone or my GoPro. So I am all about the mobile in the mobile live streaming platform. Manny, what about you?
So interesting that you asked that question. Number one, you were saying some really groovy things that I love to hear. Mountain biking, hiking. Oh my gosh, I was digging it. But honestly, as you were talking, I was thinking it's been a minute since I've actually went live using my actual phone. I've been doing everything right here in my office. I mean, I've done so many on my phone over the years, but with everything that I'm focused on, including even right now, I have not been on my phone in quite some time. Now, that's because the live streaming that I'm doing is really just like this, where it's more purposeful for this particular area. If I'm taking people on my journey, there's been many a times where I would go live wherever I'm at, whether it's in Portland. I was thinking about a time, I'm getting ready to go to Portland. There was a time I was doing a 30-day live streaming. It was like a challenge, and I was trying to do it live every day. And I did it while I was out there, but I didn't end up doing it every day because sometimes it could be hard to keep up with. But I am very curious in this aspect that the whole purpose is about getting the audience engaged. And so I'm like, okay, I definitely know some ways to get it engaged, but how can we use particular tools? That's what I'm super stoked to hear about. So, Kevin, I'm super excited about this tonight. I've got my notes ready. My friends, if this is the type of content that you'd like to see more of, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you do get notified whenever we go live. My friends, now on to the content. Take it away, Kevin.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction and leading into this discussion because it's going to be so much fun to find out, and hopefully I get to see the wheels turning in your head of, oh, how I can implement this, or how I can use existing tools that I already have. And just like you're saying, Manny, you were going live for an entire month, but now you just really don't use it as much. But maybe you can actually use it while you're on your daily trips. So I'll give you some hints and tools. So let's just dive on into the content and get into some awesome material. So today we're going to be talking about having some fun with mobile streaming, and talking about how to engage people outside of your own studio. And here are the things that you need to consider. And we're going to be going and diving a little bit more in detail with each of these topics. So, first one, using a mobile app, making sure you have a stable internet connection, checking your audio and video quality, use a tripod or stabilizer, bring a power bank, but very important one. Go into that a little bit later. Choose an interesting location, and playing with different formats. So, jumping into the first one, using a mobile app. Each platform has recognized how important it is these days to be mobile friendly. So they have optimized their platform so that you have the ability to go live. So consider what platform that you want to use, and most likely they will have a mobile version. Like for instance, Facebook has spent a lot of money on their app. YouTube has gone over and above trying to encourage people to be using their mobile devices. Instagram, Twitch, and there's so many other different platforms out there where you can actually go live. So use the native mobile apps. I know there are some that you can stream to multiple locations, um, but use the native app because that gives you a chance to talk with your audience. They have designed it so, like for Facebook, you're able to jump in and talk directly um, with your audience, like Dori in her DSpence dish that she was doing on her phone in her car. She's able to read the comments from the people as they were interacting with her, and people like that immediate. It's like immediate gratification of being able to connect with the speaker. This has got to be one of the most important things, having a stable internet connection. Um, Remember, you want to have a steady stream, so that it would be best to find a location and check your strength of signal, and stay in that one location as opposed to walking while streaming. Like there are some people out there that do hike, um, but if you are going in and out of low cell coverage areas, you are going to have a lot of buffering and struggling to get back on net on a consistent basis. So rather than doing a lot of mobile commuting and hiking, select one location that has a strong signal and sit there and have the background um, there so that while you're talking, things can happen in the background, um, and you can have a strong connection. So definitely don't want to have the buffering while you're going live. And before you actually hit that live button, make sure to test, and test your connection again. Speaking of testing, you definitely want to test your audio and video quality prior to hitting that live button. If your audience cannot hear you due to like a lot of wind or way too much background noise, they're not going to stick around to watch. Like we have said many times, audio is almost more important than the video aspect of streaming and video recording, because you need to get your message across. And if people aren't able to listen and hear what you have to say, they're not going to be too interested in sticking around. So definitely test, test, and test again. And then once you have found a location and the audio and the video are good quality, um, and you have a steady internet connection, you'll want to use either a tripod or a gimbal or stabilizer, or place your device on something solid to avoid your device from shaking too much. Because nobody really likes a shaky view when you are watching a live stream. So if you are doing some hiking in the mountains or out in the wilderness and you've found a strong signal, put your phone down on a rock and have it just stable while you have that on in the background. Or if you happen to have a tripod that's easy enough to carry, or like a selfie stick that may even convert into a tripod as well. Just something nice and light to throw in your backpack. And I'll show you what I have in terms of a selfie stick in just a moment. So making sure having that stable view does help avoid. I've done some streams without and just sort of holding it in my hand, and you can definitely notice a difference with the shakiness. And bring a power bank. So streaming takes up a ton of battery on your devices, whether it be a phone or if you do have a camera that is internet capable, it does have a SIM card in there. It is going to eat away at that battery. So make sure you bring a battery, a power bank, or multiple power banks for your stream. Or consider getting a larger capacity one if you plan to do a lot of streaming while you're like on a walk, or if you're walking around the city and just doing live streams and showing the sites to people, to your viewers and your followers. Um, you're able make sure you plug that in and just keep monitoring that to make sure that the battery bank doesn't power down as well. So definitely larger ones, more like 10,000 milliamps or higher, would be recommended if you plan to do a lot of streaming outside of your studio and away from a power source. Now, this is the interesting part. When deciding on a location that you want to go to or what you are going to stream, think about what would you like to see. What would you watch yourself? Like if you go on to whether it be a Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, what do you want to see when somebody is outside of their studio? What kind of venues? Would you be interested in historical um, statues around the city, water features, or a trail somewhere secluded? Um, would you be interested in watching somebody in a garage trying to repair or check their oil? Would you, like I said, walking along the river is definitely something that I've heard and seen lots of people do as well. Um, and also, does that location go along with your brand as well? So, for instance, if you're a photographer channel, do you want to record yourself checking the oil in your vehicle? So, really doesn't match up. So, you want to do something that does match up with your brand and what you want to send out to the internet. And this is a really cool thing. Playing with the different formats. This is where your creativity gets to come in. If you're used to being a talking head in front of a camera for most of your streams, let's try something different. Um, if you're mobile, you can it's unlimited to the number of things that you can do with it. For instance, some examples would be use your device or your phone to show behind the scenes footage of your studio while you're going live. Or if you're going to a new location outside of your studio, try interviewing somebody that has more expertise on the subject. Like, for instance, if you're going camping somewhere, talk to some park staff about the amenities of the place that you're staying or hikes that they would recommend. Of course, providing they consent to being on your camera and your stream. Um, as well, using a mobile device allows you to get different angles of products if you're doing things such as product reviews. So if you're trying out different microphones and you want to show your followers where the different ports are, instead of holding in front of your straight on camera, you can have a mobile camera sort of as a secondary camera to move around the product itself. And then now let's have a bit of fun. And I'm going to lose my audio here for, I won't be able to hear you, Manny and Dori, for a second because I'm going to take my own advice and do a behind the scenes type of view. So I have to take off my headphones so that I can do my 360 view. So just get my camera switched over to, there we go. So now we can actually use a camera and do a 360 view of what I actually look at while I am going live. So you definitely do have
Nice.
to think about your audio, your video, and all the different things as well if you are going on a mobile device. So making sure that you are getting all of those devices. The audio on the new phones definitely are a lot better these days. So being able to just go live without extra audio equipment definitely does help. But if you are going out into the wild, using I guess a rig to hold a lavalier, you have a lavalier mic on, or if you wanted to have like a boom mic on with a like a dead cat to filter out the wind that is going on. So I'm just gonna put my ears back in so I can actually hear you guys. And the whole intention that I had tonight was to actually walk around and take you for a bit of a tour, but unfortunately, technical difficulties, um, as it always seems to happen with live streams, um, sort of reared its ugly head before we actually went live today. So, all right. So, just a few little simple ideas of how to actually go live with where are we here? I I lost myself. There we go. So yeah, I'm loving it, the different ideas that you can do, and I'm just going to play a little video here to show you how you can actually use it in some of your daily routines. So not quite sure if you can hear this or not, but the video itself, um, you're actually in your vehicle and people are going to say, what about, what is he doing in his vehicle? And that sort of creates some intrigue, like where's he going to go? And then hey, you finally arrive at your destination. And this one, I actually went for my weekend coffee run and picked up some coffee. And then I'm just saying here, why don't we go somewhere different as opposed to just going back home and having your coffee? So I'm going to flip the camera around so that you can actually see where I ended up going. I went to a park. So having some gorgeous views there of the snow, and that's looking over the Bow River here in Calgary. And it was just the sun was coming up. It was just looking beautiful to be able to see the sun shining on the snow. So just giving people a different view as opposed to sitting in your studio. And I'll have a couple of questions for you guys after this is done. And this location I went to, this park, it actually has some ice skating as well. So I knew that. It's like, well, why don't we go over and take a look and just see what's going on over at the shack over there. So just did a little walk from the parking lot over. So getting here, and it's like, oh, I know what this material is. It's so people can walk with their skates, and then they walk in the skates, and then they go over, and boom, there you have a huge pond where people can actually go ice skating. So doing something fun like that, that you can share the visuals of your community as well. So I'm going to pose a question to Manny and to Dori about different locations where that are, I guess, sort of unique to your area. Um, and when we'll switch over, um, we'll go to, who are we going to go to? We're going to go to Manny first, um, to find out what kind of areas are sort of have a unique view, in, like, whether it be like a historical or whether it be a like a park or something unique. So I'd be very curious to hear what you have to provide for that, Manny.
I when it comes to live streaming, I've done definitely so many, like, again, multiple 30-day challenges on its own. But one of the things I love about Facebook Live so much, or live in general, is the engagement portion of it. So, like, I've always been conscious of something that you mentioned about um, scenery, about where you take this video at, where you do the video at. And in my particular case, like, I'm in St. Louis, which is known for the arch, having that big old arch and stuff like that. So I've done a live down there. I've always tried to do it, like, if I could get it in like a back of with my background being like a pond. There's this one park not too far from here where I did a live with a little water backdrop on it. That was a little harder because I didn't have good audio. But I try to put it with some more, a good backdrop on it. And that's a key thing there, is when you're trying to do this, is and having that right audio, because you said it. Your audio has to be there. So if you're trying to create that really cool background, it's like, or even if you're like on the streets, right? If there's a lot of traffic, that could be a hindrance from hearing the video well. So I think those are key things, but you said it, like, have it in front of something that is attractive to the eye, but not so busy. We have a lake not too far from here where I ride my bike all the time, and I would literally sit right in front of that lake multiple times, whether it's on a bench or somewhere where I was trying to find where I can just, as you described it, hold your phone up so that you can just do it without a lot of interference or dropping. So I was like, you really hit it. You hit it really good, well, in so many aspects. Dori, what do you think? What are some crazy places that you've done it? Now you're out in the East Coast, so I want to definitely hear outside of your school. That's pretty cool that you do that at school so much too, though.
First, let me apologize for the distraction called my cat that was all over my desk.
No,
I
those are the
apologize for
great
that.
distractions. Those are good. We love those.
Um, I just had to discipline him and kick him out. So we live in an area that is very much known for, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like EJ, Endicott Johnson. It was a big shoe manufacturer back in the day. And our area here, one of the other aspects of the historical end of things is carousels. So the whole area in upstate New York is very much known for carousels. And as a matter of fact, the big mall up in Syracuse, New York, has a full-blown carousel rebuilt inside the mall. And so there are different locations throughout the downtown Binghamton area where there are just carousel horses as sightseeing things just on street corners, in parks. There is a carousel over, I believe it's still running, not too far from here. And so that's something that's really unique to this area. And there are people that come and they try to get their photos taken with as many of the different carousel horses as they can around town and things like that. So that's really fun. The other thing that I think is really a draw is just anything in the outdoors. Because I think about the amount of family members that I have that live in bigger cities. And then when they come to visit, I take for granted at the fact that I see a deer. It's like, oh, big deal. Like it's not that big of a deal. But they see it and it's like, it's insane. So I think what you could do in terms of, figuring out areas around yourself, or think about, like you said, Manny, you have the arch. I have the carousels. I live in a very rural area. And so I would focus on things that are in my area so that people that don't have that type of environment can enjoy that, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I love it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then, of course, my classroom, but that's another thing. That's a wilderness in and of itself.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but,
So,
Manny, you mentioned the audio. And, you know, I 100% agree. I think audio, I'm almost like OCD about my audio, as both of you know, as I've been sharing files with you all week. I am so very sorry. But I think one of the things that you pointed out, Kevin, you mentioned it and then you reinforced it with your video example, a non-shaky camera. I I was waiting to see what the video was going to look like when you got out of the car and started to approach the skating area. And you couldn't even tell you were walking. That's the beauty of having like a selfie stick or a gimbal or something. Just letting your audience feel like they're actually walking alongside of you instead of taking a ride in a bumpy car. So I love that. I thought that was great.
okay, can I drop a bit of truth here now? That was my actual phone that I was carrying and walking along with it. I didn't have a gimbal.
Nice.
I didn't have a selfie stick. So that just goes to
Okay.
show you how good today's cameras are in terms of the settings and the stabilization that they have in them. So if you actually just rather than using the regular camera, go into the settings and look at the stabilization settings. And it will actually, when you move it up to like a 2K type of uh, resolution and play with that stabilization, that's how almost steady it can become. So, yeah, I
Wow.
That's
fooled. I was
impressive.
able to. I was able to fool you.
Good job. Wow. Um yeah, that was crazy. I
So,
enjoyed that. What
but yeah,
final
just
thoughts,
take
Kevin?
So yeah, I was just gonna say, as you're going around on your daily routines, you may think it's very routine, but for other people, it may not be. So, the places that you go, Like for you, Manny, with some of your groups or your marketing group that you meet with, not many people may know of that actual location. So using it on your live stream and helping promote the business as well. You never know; you may end up getting some sponsorship from that from that location. And it never hurts to ask and say, "Hey, can we do a live stream from here so I can actually share it with my audience and those in the St. Louis area can come and visit and make an order." So I absolutely love the how accessible that everybody has a phone these days, and just using it and then being able to go live to not to promote to get I guess it's more to share your experiences as to doing the promotion part of it, and trying to get something for going live. For me, I just love sharing and helping people out. Um, and if you have, like I said, use your equipment that you have with you and do it at the time. And using those native apps, they definitely do take advantage of all the features of all the new phones that are coming out now. So, absolutely love it.
Excellent point, Kevin. Use what you have. I love it. Manny, any final thoughts from you?
I'm a big believer in live streaming. I truly believe that it is one of the best ways to engage. So you hit a home run just bringing that up, because Facebook Live is one of the absolute best ways to really connect with your audience. And taking people on your journey with Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I'm living all the time. So like I totally appreciate you bringing this up. And I think at the end of the day, knowing that it's raw and uncut, that's what people want to see. But that also makes us have a little fear. That's exactly why I love what Dori's always sharing every single morning, basically, about how we have to overcome these things. So whether you're thinking not having the right tools or not doing the right or looking great that morning, the bottom line is your audience doesn't care about all that stuff. They just want to know what the message is and what's in it for them. So really, I love how simple you made this, Kevin. So hopefully a lot of people take advantage of what you shared and how simple this can be to just click a button and go and be on the road. Watching you on those short little clips, and it's like, and watching the transition, I was ready for some more too. So good job there. But those are my final thoughts on that. Great job overall. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Loved it. Loved it.
My friends, if you enjoy content like this and you're finding it useful, we would love it if you'd like and subscribe. Sharing our content is also a great way to spread the love. And you can visit our website for information on all the ways that you can connect with us. And you can see it right there on your screen, linktree/content creators connect. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
And also drop down in the comments anything that you would like to for us to dive in and discuss a little bit further. We are very open to hearing your suggestions, so we look forward to hearing what is a roadblock for you so we can help you overcome it.
And with that, we want to say a thank you for joining Content Creators Connect, aka C3, tonight as Kevin covered his best tips for mobile live streaming. We return next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where this girl right here, will be discussing live streams and how to use them to build your brand. We will be multicasting live to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so be sure to join us. Until then, we urge you to identify and lean into your 3 C's. Start today creating unique content that builds connections and breaks down those barriers. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.